Good morning, class. Today we will learn about the Griswold versus Connecticut case. Some background on the case. In 1987, Connecticut passed a law that banned the use of any drug, medical device, or instrument in furthering contraception. Contraception is defined as the deliberate use of artificial methods or other techniques to prevent pregnancy as a consequence of sexual intercourse. Now that we have some background on the matter, let's begin with the case. A gynecologist in the Yale School of Medicine, C.U.E. Buxton, opened a birth control clinic in New Haven in conjunction with Estelle Griswold. Estelle Griswold, who was the head of the Planned Parenthood in Connecticut. They were arrested and convicted of violating the law, and their convictions were affirmed by higher state courts. They planned to question the constitutionality of the statute under the 14th Amendment before the Supreme Court for breaking their rights of privacy. The main question of the case was, does the Constitution protect the right of marital privacy against state restrictions on a couple's ability to be counseled in the use of contraceptives? Now in the background you can see Griswold. Under the state of Connecticut, it was stated that any person who uses any drug, medicine, article, or instrument for the purpose of preventing conception shall be fined not less than $50 or imprisoned not less than 60 days, nor more than 1 year, or be both fined and imprisoned. The appellants were found guilty as accessories and fined $100 each against the claim that the accessory statute was applied and violated the 14th Amendment. It was mentioned that the right to privacy can be inferred from several amendments in the Bill of Rights, and the rights prevent states from making the use of contraception by married couples illegal. The Fourth and Fifth Amendments were described in Boyd v. United States as protections against all governmental invasions, quote, of the sanctity of a man's home and the privacies of life. They were inferred as rights to privacy, which were used in the case to prove Griswold's innocence. Within the case, it was quoted that governmental purpose to control it or prevent activities constitutionally subject to state regulation may not be achieved by means which sweep unnecessarily broadly and thereby invade the area of protected freedoms. Case, I found a really good statement. It says, the present case then concerns a relationship lying within the zone of privacy created by several fundamental constitutional guarantees, and it concerns a law which, in forbidding the use of contraceptives rather than regulating their manufacture or sale, seeks to achieve its goal by meaning having a maximum destructive impact upon that relationship. Such a law cannot stand in the light of the familiar principle so often applied by the court. Now, class, who wants to hear a joke? Alright, here it comes. Okay, so last night I saw 6 men kicking and punching Barack Obama. A bystander said, "Are you going to help?" I said, "No, 6 should be enough." Now, continuing with the case, the majority, authored by Justice Douglas, ruled that the Constitution did in fact protect the right of marital privacy against state restrictions on contraceptions. That said, the court explained that the Constitution does not explicitly protect the general right to privacy. The various guarantees within the Bill of Rights create penumbras to establish a right to privacy. A penumbra is the rights guaranteed by implication in a constitution or implied powers of a rule. Within the case, it was several case amendments were mentioned within the case, referring to a person's right to privacy and freedom. Of those, the First, Third, Fourth, and Ninth Amendment create the right of privacy in marital relations. Connecticut's written law conflicted or statute conflicted with the exercise of this right and was therefore held null and void. Alright class, are you ready for another joke? Here it goes. Okay, so I was about to take a job as an enumerator for the government. Thank goodness I came to my senses. Okay, one more. Why do dictators speak to the masses from balconies? Haven't they heard that no ledge is power? Justice Goldberg, joined by Justice Warren and Brennan, concurred that rather than imagining that the right to privacy was contained in imaginary penumbras, they located it in the 9th and 14th Amendments. Justice White argued that the 14th Amendment was the proper basis for the decision, while Justice Harlan concurred that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment protects the right to privacy. The disagreeing minority, Justice Black, joined by Justice Stewart, unpersuaded by the loose reasoning of the majority. Black felt that there was no way to infer that the Constitution contained a right to privacy. He also dismissed the views of the concurrences that could be found in the 9th and 14th Amendment. In continuation of the minority's decision and reasoning, Justice Stewart, joined by Justice Black, filed a separate dissenting opinion. Stewart argued that despite his personal view that the law was uncommonly silly, he felt that the court had no choice but to find it constitutional. Many what-ifs were concurred in the case, such as in the U.S. Constitution, Amendment 1, if all appellants had done was to advise people that they thought the use of contraceptives was desirable, or even to counsel their use, the appellants would of course have a substantial First Amendment claim. But their activities went far beyond mere advocacy. They prescribed specific contraceptives devices and furnished patients with the prescribed contraceptive materials. These side what-ifs called footnotes within the case are presumably helpful in the determination of the direction of the case, as in how it will end within the judge's view and opinion based on the evidence brought up. Another footnote that I found very informational and helpful was the amendments in question were, as everyone knows, originally adopted as limitations upon the power of the newly created federal government, not as limitations upon the powers of the individual states. But the court has held that many of the provisions of the first 8 amendments are fully embraced by the 14th Amendment as limitations upon state action. And some members of the court have held that the view that the adoption of the 14th Amendment made every provision of the first 8 amendments fully applicable against the states.